when I had GERD and burning acid reflux every single day, there wasn't really a lot of information about to find alternative solutions. But now the problem we suffer with these days is information overload. There's far too much information. Who's right and who's wrong? People tell you eat this, don't eat that. It's so confusing. Who do you listen to? Well, I'm a nutritionist who works specifically with people who suffer with acid reflux and bloating. And in this video, you'll discover the #1 food that triggers reflux in almost everyone who is susceptible, an unsuspecting trigger, and even in healthy foods that you had no idea about, and what to eat every single day to reduce the chance of you getting these problems in the future. Now, most people have no idea that acid reflux isn't caused by too much acid, but acid in the wrong place. The acid is supposed to be inside the stomach, but because something is interfering with what we call the lower esophageal sphincter, that acid now comes up and into the esophagus, creating that burning and damage. One of those common causes is a bacteria like H. pylori. Now, H. pylori is a common cause of acid reflux for 2 reasons. 1, it suppresses your acid production, which means that lower esophageal sphincter doesn't close properly, and 2, it can build up pressure by creating things like hydrogen to force that lower esophageal sphincter open. Now, yeast is also a very common cause of hidden acid reflux that people have no idea about. And the foods we're going to concentrate on today, which decreases the chance of this bacteria and fungus causing you a problem. Before we start, it's worth noting that these strategies work extremely well alongside specific supplements to kill that particular bacteria. So for example, if we're trying to kill H. pylori, we like to use Pylopurge, and if we're killing yeast, we like to use Yeast Purge. So the first food we're going to talk about is a beneficial saturated fat, and that food is coconut or coconut oil. Now, coconut contains something called lauric acid, and when digested, it produces a compound called monolaurin. A study from the Journal of Medicinal Food found that coconut oil and lauric acid showed a strong antifungal effect against Candida albicans. Lauric acid disrupts the membrane and kills the yeast. Now, remember before I said that yeast was a common cause of acid reflux, so consuming coconut oil on a regular basis can help improve those symptoms alongside something more powerful like Yeast Purge. In another study in the Journal of Complementary Dental Practice, oil pulling with coconut oil significantly reduced the levels of candida in the mouth. And again, this was directly attributed to the lauric acid. Now, often in people that I work with, they have candida overgrowth on their tongue, in their mouth, and in their esophagus, triggering signs of silent acid reflux like food getting stuck, partial lumps in the throat sensation, and difficulty swallowing. So coconut oil pulling is something we love to use alongside Yeast Purge to help get rid of that excess candida. For our second food, you may have even heard that this isn't even a health food. In fact, your doctor will probably tell you to stay away because it contains cholesterol and it contains saturated fat. Not only is this false, it stops people consuming this extremely beneficial health food, and that food is butter. Butter is rich in what we call fat-soluble vitamins. For example, they need fat to be digested properly, which have a range of benefits for your bodily functions. For example, vitamin A is crucial for vision and for skin. Vitamin D supports bone health, calcium absorption, and can help boost your immune system. Vitamin E is one of the most powerful antioxidants inside your body, which will also help maintain skin health and protect you from oxidative damage. And finally, vitamin K2, found in grass-fed butter, plays a key role in calcium and bone health metabolism. It also helps reduce the plaque formation inside your arteries, which can lead to bigger diseases. Now, lots of these vitamins, especially A and D, play a huge and most important role in your immune system. Now, you want your immune system fighting strong. It's going to get a reduced chance of you catching H. pylori and allowing the yeast to overgrow. Not only this, but butter contains something called butyric acid, which actually feeds the lining of your digestive tract to prevent things like leaky gut. And leaky gut is associated with a weakened immune system because you get an inflammatory response every time you eat certain foods. And when your immune system is busy dealing with that inflammation, it's not busy fighting back against H. pylori or an overgrowth of yeast. Now, a third common cause of acid reflux and GERD is not having a gallbladder or having poor functioning of the gallbladder, poor bile flow. The job of the gallbladder is to store bile that's produced by your liver. When you eat a large fatty meal, that gallbladder squirts out bile into your small intestine to help you digest fat. But if you have poor bile flow or gallstones created, for example, by something like H. pylori, And not only will this create problems digesting fats and lead to nausea, it can end up with bile inside the stomach, leading to acid reflux, gastritis, and a hernia. Artichoke contains compounds like cynorrhea and silymarin. Cynorrhea is believed to stimulate bile production, which is crucial for fat digestion and the prevention of bile reflux and indigestion. A study in the Journal of Phytomedicine, participants were given artichoke extract and then they measured their bile flow. They found the artichoke extract significantly increased bile flow compared to placebo, suggesting a potential benefit in improving the flow of bile from the gallbladder. So artichoke is one of those foods we love to consume to improve liver flow and bile flow, helping prevent the build-up and acid reflux. Now, spices have been used for thousands of years to not only improve the quality and taste of food, but to improve digestion. And this yellow Indian spice is definitely one of my favorite. Research has shown that turmeric can increase the content of gastric wall mucus and mucin in digestive juice. Not only does this protect the stomach from problems such as H. pylori, a study in the International Journal of Basic and Clinical Pharmacology found that the turmeric root not only provides gastric benefit, but also protects against ulcers, which is known to be caused by H. pylori. We are big fans of H. pylori here, which is actually why Pilo Purge contains 2 different types of curcumin, not only to reduce the pain and the oxidative damage caused by H. pylori, but also to actually kill the H. pylori itself. Unfortunately, the bioavailability, that means the usability of the curcumin inside turmeric, is not very good. And so while we do recommend regular consumption of turmeric, if you're looking for those powerful effects, it needs to be concentrated into the extract, which is curcumin. Now, all of these foods will help, but unfortunately, if you consume the next 4 foods, you can undo all of the good work you've done with those foods previously. Starting with the worst, alcohol. Not only does alcohol weaken your immune system, allowing you to catch things like H. pylori and to allow yeast to overgrow, alcohol can directly interfere with that lower esophageal sphincter, reducing pressure, allowing acid from the stomach back up into the esophagus. A study in the Journal of Neurogastroenterology and Motility found that after the intake of wine, there was a significant decrease in lower esophageal sphincter pressure, allowing the acid back up into the esophagus. Remember, acid reflux isn't caused by too much acid, it's caused by acid in the wrong place. So if you're consuming things that interfere with that sphincter, it can increase the chance of you getting acid reflux because the contents of the stomach end up in the esophagus. The next drink is everybody's favorite. Now, although coffee consumption has been shown to increase the longevity of your life, when you have reflux, coffee can be a problem. But not everybody seems to react the same way. Some studies have even shown that decaffeinated coffee reduces acid reflux, which may be the caffeine content inside the coffee that's causing the problem. A study in the Journal of Molecular Nutrition Food Research showed that a dark coffee roast stimulated less production than a medium coffee roast. So if you're a regular coffee drinker, maybe a decaf dark roast will be the best choice for you currently while you try to figure out the root of your acid reflux. Remember, there are 3 main causes of reflux, and if you don't know where to start, we made a free quiz called myacidrefluxquiz.com where you can go and it will take 2 minutes to fill out the quiz, which will narrow down where is likely to be your problem. Food number 3 is one of my personal favorites, chocolate. While the polyphenols that give that chocolate the bitter taste can be very beneficial to your microbiome, some studies have shown chocolate to interfere with that lower esophageal sphincter. A study in the American Journal of Gastroenterology demonstrated that chocolate significantly increases esophageal acid in patients who are already inflamed in the esophagus, called esophagitis. And they believe this is caused by the relaxation of the lower esophageal sphincter by the chocolate. So if you're someone who already has an inflamed esophagus and already suffering from acid reflux, it might be worth skipping the chocolate temporarily while you figure out the root cause. In a study labeled "The Influence of Dietary Compounds on a Gut Microbiota" in 2021, showed that the consumption of processed foods was one of the factors that contribute to negative shifts in the gut microbiome. These shifts lead to reduced microbial diversity and actually the loss of beneficial microbes in the gut microbiome. So why is this useful? Well, microbial diversity relates to the different types of bacteria and fungus and virus and archaea that live inside our system that create our gut microbiome. The more diverse our microbiome, the better it is to ward off almost all disease. Now, remember before we spoke about H. pylori and yeast being symbiotic or commensal inside the human microbiome? In small amounts, sometimes it can be okay. But when there's an imbalance and they have larger amounts compared to the beneficial bacteria, that's when you start to create problems. And having increased microbial diversity, it gives you more chance of having beneficial bacteria than if you have a low level of diversity. So long-term consumption of ultra-processed foods can lower that diversity, increasing the chance that yeast is going to cause you problems, or you catch H. pylori and that giving you issues as well. So there you have it. Hopefully this video was useful. Please like and follow and subscribe along, and let me know in the comments if there's any other videos you'd like me to cover.